Kelly Dover is a Pennsylvania-based remodeler and repairman. She, his wife Grace, son Ralph, and daughter Emma, together with his friends Franklin and Nancy Birch and their daughters Eliza and Joy, celebrate Thanksgiving with them. After supper, Anna and Joy, the two younger girls, wander back to the Dovers' house nearby to fetch a toy whistle while the rest of the family relaxes. Keller rushes to his residence in search of the girls when he notices that they have been missing for an extended period of time. When Keller is unable to locate the children, panic arises, with the only hint being a battered RV parked across the street. A local police detective, Detective Loki, notices an RV near a gas station after receiving information about the missing girls over the radio. He detains the RV's occupant, a young man named Alex Jones. A forensic check of the RV turns up nothing, and the cops are unable to discover any appropriate leads in the neighboring woods. In pursuit of leads, Loki pays visits to the two families as well as Alex's aunt, who lives with them. A search for some well-known local sex offenders leads him to the basement of a local Catholic priest, where he discovers a decomposing body. The priest informs him that the man is a member of his congregation who has confessed to being a serial killer. Keller is taken aback the next day when he learns that Alex has been released after his 48-hour detention period has expired. Because Alex has low IQ, Loki is confident he's not the kidnapper. Alex smugly whispers to Keller outside the station, but the girls didn't weep until he left them when Keller strikes him. Keller informs Loki and the police captain, both of whom discount the claim. Keller chooses to conduct his own investigation after being dissatisfied with the police's handling of the case and the kidnapping generating tensions in his family. When he arrives at Alex's place, he discovers him walking with his dog. When he hears Alex sing a song that the two girls sang during the Thanksgiving dinner, he loses his cool and draws his weapon on him. He picks up an unsuspecting Franklin the next morning and takes him to an abandoned apartment complex where his father used to live. Keller has kidnapped Alex and is holding him captive in the flat, which astounds Franklin. Keller's strategy is to torment Alex until he confesses to the girl's kidnapping. Meanwhile, Loki interrogates the priest who informs him that the kidnapper confessed to abducting infants in broad daylight. The priest only knows that the kidnapper had a family. As Alex refuses to confess, Keller's plan fails. While the neighborhood holds a candlelit vigil in honor of the missing girls, he and Franklin return home. Loki, who's present at the vigil, becomes suspicious of a guy who's seen leaving a teddy bear at the scene and pursues him through the darkness. Before Loki can apprehend him, he flees into the woods. Keller has a suspicion that Alex and the other men are in cahoots. Back in the station, Loki brings Alex's dog Collar to his commander, informing him that he has been AWOL for a few days and criticizing him for not placing him under surveillance. After seeing the man's sketch at the vigil, a department store employee contacts Loki and informs him that she sees him weekly purchasing children's clothing. Nancy queries Franklin about why he has been spending time away from home after yet another day of abusing Alex when he arrives home. She storms over to his place after he confesses and demands to see Alex. Nancy shows Joy's photographs to Alex, who's bloodied and injured, pleading with him to assist her in finding his daughters. As a gesture of sympathy, she unties him, but Alex swiftly tries to break free, slashing Franklin with a shattered glass during the ensuing battle. The two men, on the other hand, are able to subdue him. Keller builds a temporary chamber to confine Alex in because he believes he will no longer be able to torment him without murdering him. Franklin is losing faith in the kidnapping, but Nancy persuades him to keep to the plan for the sake of his daughter. Loki follows Keller to a liquor store parking lot the next morning, but an angrily hooting garbage truck driver gives away his hiding position. Keller approaches him and inquires as to why he's being followed. If he's the one who has taken Alex, Loki tells him that he might not be able to see his daughter. Loki investigates Keller and learns that his father was a former correctional officer who committed suicide at the address where the old apartment now stands. Keller continues to torture Alex by connecting a couple of pipes in the room that offers scalding hot and icy cold showers. When Loki comes to the abandoned apartment, Keller quickly improvises and pretends he's been staying there in order to cope with his daughter's disappearance and hide his resumption of drinking from his wife. The investigator is interrupted before he can investigate the building by the department store lady, who informs him that the vigil suspect was merely there to stop for the clothes. Loki follows Bob Taylor to his home right away. He storms inside the house, shackles Bob, and summons the support unit after observing his uneasy demeanor. His examination of the residence takes him to a room containing multiple crates with bloody children's clothing as well as snakes. Loki summons Keller and Birches to help him identify clothing found during the search, which they recognize as belonging to their lost daughters. The girls are presumed to be dead right away. As news teams assemble in the vicinity, Keller tells Ralph not to notify Grace about the news because she didn't go to the station. Bob is held captive in an interrogation room where he pledges to sketch a map that will reveal the location of his victims. Bob instead draws a sequence of mazes on paper. After 3 hours, Loki enters the room, impatiently demanding the map. Bob steals Loki's weapon and shoots himself in the head, resulting in a struggle. Back at the apartment, Alex informs Keller that the girls are lost in the maze, a message that a furious Keller misinterprets. Keller pays a visit to Alex's aunt, Holly, in the hopes of learning more about him. After an accident involving her husband's pet cats, Holly and her husband adopted Alex, who had an intellectual impairment. Loki introduces the significance of Bob's cryptic map drawings after some investigation and connects them to the body discovered in the priest's home. During that time, forensic officers discovered that the blood on Bob's clothes was actually pig's blood. Bob, who was kidnapped as a child, is suspected of simply reenacting his earlier experiences. Loki refuses to end the probe since he now believes there's more to the issue. He visits a Dover's home and discovers Anna's sock in the backyard. Joy is found a few hours later, but not Anna. She's taken to the hospital where doctors remove the narcotics from her body. "You are there," Joy tells Keller as she wakes up. She understands the children are being detained at Holly's house right away and rushes there. Meanwhile, Loki arrives at Dover's deserted flat to find Alex kicking and screaming. Keller offers to help with renovations as a way in. When he arrives at Holly's house, she allows him in, but not before drawing a pistol. She tells him to bind himself and consume the narcotic liquid. She confesses to having stolen dozens of children with the help of her late husband, including Anna and Joy, as she walks him out to the backyard. She shoots him in the leg and tosses him into the deep pit beneath an old automobile. Keller discovers an ancient whistle that belonged to Anna. Loki pays a visit to Holly's house to inform her about Alex's discoveries. When he sees a photo of her husband wearing mace-themed jewelry, he realizes what has transpired. He walks in on Holly as she injects an unknown chemical into Anna. He murders Holly and transports Anna to the hospital after a brief skirmish in which he is wounded in the head by a bullet wound. Nancy expresses her gratitude to Loki for locating her daughter. Anna says that she and Joy found the whistle before they were kidnapped, but she dismisses the claim as trauma. Loki hears a faint whistling sound coming from the backyard a few days later, while forensics officers dig around Holly's house, hinting that Keller is still alive underground. Denis Villeneuve, a Canadian director, is best known for his 2010 film Incendies, a mysterious and involved tale that I thought worked as a kind of prose poem about memory and identity, as well as how violence and bloodshed are the creators or parents of a traumatized feature, but I questioned its straightforward believability as drama. Prisoners, Villeneuve's debut English-language film, are a long, gruesome, and at times compelling forensic crime drama. Hugh Jackman plays a man whose young daughter has been abducted. Jake Gyllenhaal plays the detective assigned to the investigation, and Paul Dano plays the troubled character who has the key to the entire situation. There are numerous suspects in this film, as well as multiple plot lines and spinning plates. Everything comes together in the end, sort of. Prisoners are as complicated and convoluted as any airport bestseller, but it's an original script by TV writer-producer Aaron Guzikowski rather than an adaptation. With the several meanings in the title, it clearly wants to be more than pulp. There are horrific moments that remind me of Jonathan Demm's The Silence of the Lambs in 1991 or George Slizer's The Vanishing in 1998. The picture hints at agonizing questions of guilt, crime, and punishment. The haggard and bearded Jackman on the poster has a Dostoevskian aspect, which rarely does not come across in the film. Perhaps most intriguingly, Villeneuve and Guzikowski appear to be concocting parallels for the War on Terror, certain fears hidden in the American psyche about what happens when interrogation is strengthened. We hope you enjoyed our video from today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of new and interesting videos.